My name is Gina Lujan, and my career focus is technology and innovation. I am from West Los Angeles, California. My father's family is from La Piedad, Michoacan, but they've been here for quite some time. Since the early 1900s, they were settled in Los Angeles. My mother's side, one side is Yaqui, so we are native to here. And then the other side is originally from France and Spain, and they moved to Mexico City like hundreds of years ago, and we're landowners here in California. The city Yorba Linda is named after my family. For me, living as a teenager is very different from a lot of people because I did leave home at 14. So I basically was living on my own and making my own way, working and eventually taking care of my children and trying to figure out how to have a better life for my children and myself. I would say the positive traits that I gained was learning how to be extremely independent, how to be very resourceful, and how to hustle. My last grade completed was 8th grade. It was 7th grade, and then I left school in 8th grade. So I did not go to college. I attempted to go to college, so I probably went a few semesters here and a few semesters there. I did return to get my high school diploma, but because of the 6 kids and the low income, I just worked. So my whole family are entrepreneurial. So my grandfather owned his own masonry company, and all his sons, including my father, owned mason companies. So I was kind of bred into the world of entrepreneurship and making with my hands. When I was a child, I was exposed to computers very early. And then when I was on my own, I had someone tell me, you're Latina, you're young, you have children, and you don't have an education. The only thing that you can do is become an entrepreneur. So with that being said, that's really all I did was I tried to find different ways to make money and through entrepreneurship. And because when the first personal computer came out and I had already been exposed to it as a child, I taught myself to code. And that just opened a world of doors for me. I was like, I'm going to teach myself to code so I can open a business online and I'm going to be rich. And I taught myself to code. I didn't become rich, but it led me down a path between that and entrepreneurship. I used technology for every business I owned. I owned a mortgage company at one point for several years. I've had small cleaning businesses. I've had retail businesses. I've had storefronts. I've had a few storefronts. Different things, and everything that I use technology. I use the web design skills that I taught myself to make them bigger. This was funny. So what I did is I had convinced my family to buy me a computer. This computer was $2,000 in the 90s, which is really a lot. It's a lot of money now. It was really a lot of money then. And I got this computer, and then I kind of stared at it for 2 years because I didn't know what to do once I got it. And then I was pregnant with my 6th child. And I was like, I don't have any money. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I was like, I'm going to open an herbal business. I was going to make herbal remedies because I really love herbal remedies. I'm going to build a website. I'm going to sell these remedies, right? I'm not even like having a business plan or anything. So what I'm going to do. So I started building the website, and I went off of one of those website generators. And I hated the elements of the website. I was like, why are these things moving? Like, why, you know what I mean? Like, why is these I hated GIFs. I don't like things that move. I didn't like, they were so crowded. And so I started going in the back and removing elements from the code and then adding in my own elements that I searched. So I started taking out code and then pasting in code. And then from there, I started to learn simple syntax. And then after that, I memorized all the syntax and started building my own sites. And I actually opened a web design company. I was one of the first ones here to advertise in the News and Review. So the learning code helped me actually build my skill set for front-end web design and graphic design. So soon after that, I went into graphic design. It helped me because I ended up opening a firm, eventually moving to the Bay Area and becoming a very successful firm there. and then having to open a co-working space because I was so successful, I needed an office. So that's where the beginning of Hacker Lab started. Is I was in East Bay, and so I opened the second or third co-working space in Berkeley, and that opened up the doors to the startup community. So one thing led to another. It was like learning the code, and then using them for business and building entrepreneurship skills, and then eventually opening a design skill and the mecca of startup culture, and getting, and then opening this co-working space just on a fluke, and then meeting people in the arena and learning from them it was just basically just little breadcrumbs. And me being very fortunate to meet very generous and kind people who took the time to mentor me and kind of open doors and show things to me. So I think it's just kind of following that path. My biggest challenges that I had to face when I was younger and having businesses is, one, not having any business mentors around me, and having to learn everything on my own, and being so stubborn that I did do everything on my own and didn't really look for outside resources to help me. So I made things a lot more difficult for myself than they should have been. So kind of like I'm my own island. I'm a survivor. You know what I mean? And which all those things are really great, but I probably could have made a little bit easier for myself if I would have, tried not to reinvent the wheel all the time. Everybody gets accolades and awards and newspaper stuff and all of those things. Those aren't the proudest things to me. I think the proudest thing I've done is acknowledge the fact that I'm not an island, and that it really takes community to do great things, and to really embrace that. And that moment, that epiphany moment that you have, that it took a cohort of people to help achieve something really great, I think is one of the proudest things I've ever done, because I was very arrogant, very, very arrogant, and in my own right. Not like I was a jerk or anything, but I was very like a lone wolf, and I was so controlling. And I had a lot of success in so many things I've done, but not the level of success I have now. I made more money before than I do now. It's not the money and it's not the accolades. It is the success that we've done really great things to impact the world around us, and we did it together. I think that's the proudest thing that I can say, is that we've had an impact on the world, and that I've done it with a bunch of really amazing people. Like that's everything to me. That's everything. When I was younger, I was learning, and unfortunately my kids were coming along with me, and they went through all the mistakes I made, so many, and I put them through so much. My legacy to them is to be a better person now, and to leave my grandchildren something that they can be proud of, that I can create a platform for them. I think that a lot of us that carry trauma and pain keep that with us, and you actually hurt those around you by keeping it inside. But if you share your knowledge, your wisdom, and your experiences, you actually free yourself and free others. That is all.